Welcome back everyone to another Hermes Agent tutorial. Today we're going to turn Hermes Agent into a search powerhouse, all powered by GPT 5.6 Sol, or any GPT model. So as you can see on the right hand side here, I have some prompts and checklists. So let's just jump into it and start turning Hermes Agent into that search powerhouse you've always wanted. So here's a quick walkthrough if you want to actually come back and look through the chapters, but basically, it's just a few simple steps. So we're going to connect Codex and GPT 5.6, the new model that just dropped. Then we're going to install and connect SearXNG. We're going to install Docker, Tavily, and then we're going to set up some search skills, and then I'll show you how to run a couple searches. Now, it's not that complicated. Hermes can help you install a lot of this. So the first part is just getting Codex set up. So let's just jump right in. Okay, so when you're in Hermes and the desktop app, and you can download this, just Google Hermes Agent desktop app and you'll find the link to download it if you don't have it already. But once it's installed, and it's as simple as just downloading the link, you go into settings and then you'll go into your providers in settings, which is right there. Let that load up. And so what you're going to see is the OpenAI OAuth and ChatGPT, same thing. And that's just going to open up and be like a normal login. So it'll open a link in your browser, you click login, connect. If you're not signed into ChatGPT, just sign in, and that's it, you're connected. Once you're actually in the chat, you start a new session, and then you can select your model down here. So in Hermes, it goes by Codex. So you want to look for OpenAI Codex, and then you'll see all the models, and you can select thinking, fast, high, max, Terra. For this, you could probably get away with using Terra. I think it's a good middle ground for this, but we'll use Sol for now since that's the new flagship model, and I have it set to high. So now that we have Hermes Agent set up, the next step is going to be installing SearXNG. And again, it's very simple because all you have to do is just give Hermes the link. So you can get SearXNG from GitHub. It's free, create an account for free. It's completely open source, costs you nothing. And it even installs as an app. It has an installation guide, but you don't have to worry about any of that. You just want to take the link, and then in Hermes, you just give it the link. And I have a prompt here that you can borrow. Here we go. Install SearXNG from this GitHub repository. And then it's going to also have to install Docker, which is just like basically a container that allows you to just set up like a private connection and runs locally. So the one thing that SearXNG gives you is links. So I have a skill here, and it's called SearXNG links. And basically the skill, its only purpose is to just pull links. So like as you just saw how I did in SearXNG, now that you're in Hermes and now we're using GPT 5.6 Sol, it's going to use that to use a Python script. It'll write it itself, and this skill in particular is designed so it just pulls up links. So if you just want to search in Hermes and have links, like literally nothing else, that's what that skill is good for. So that's what I have here for the demo, literally just searching for results, pulling up links, and then you can go to these links as you want. And you can search for any news. You want to search for the latest ChatGPT news, pull up latest news. And so now that the skill is installed, and it's literally as simple as set up this skill, what it'll do is every time you just say you want just links, it's going to run a little Python script, and it's just going to pull up links if you don't want anything else. If you just want some like quick results and that's it in a couple seconds, that's exactly what the just links skill will do. There are other tools you can install, like Tavily and a few others. They all have like free tiers if you want something a little bit more than that, and I have search skills for that too. And as you can see here, we just have some. So if you want something a little bit more than just links, and like you actually want some like let's say, not a full, reading of the article, but just like kind of like a little brief, so you have a little bit more of an idea of what each link is. That's where a tool called Tavily comes into play. And again, Hermes can install Tavily for you. So this is Tavily. You just go to tavily.com and you'll get an API key, and that's it. Again, there's a free tier, and so what you want to do is you create your API key, you copy it, and then you can go back into Hermes. You give Hermes the API, like put API key here for Tavily. You can do it that way, and Hermes will set up the script for you so it uses Tavily. Or if you want to go into your settings, you can go to tools and keys. And like I said, there's a lot of tools you can use. I have Exa set up. I have Firecrawl. These are all, Exa is more of like semantic search if you want like similar results. Firecrawl was good for like crawling websites. But yeah, Tavily is down here. So you can install Tavily, and there's my, again, SearXNG. See how it sets up a local host for you. And you can just paste the API key here, or Hermes will do it for you. I mean, either way, Hermes is very powerful in the way that it can set that up. So, like I said, there's a couple other search skills that I have set up. So let's pull up the brief. So as you can see, this search skill is for setting up written blurbs with links. So let's try that World Cup search again. And you don't have to select skills in Hermes. Hermes now knows, like, you can just say, pull up briefs for World Cup news. Let's try, and you'll see the difference in how these links work. And again, this is being powered by GPT 5.6 Sol. And if you want something a little quicker, you don't need to use the biggest model. You can use like Terra, even Luna, I think would probably be more than enough for this. Or you can even use APIs like DeepSeek, Flash. That'll be more than enough for something like this. Very cheap if you don't have a Codex subscription. Minimax, Quen 3.7 Plus. I mean, really any kind of Flash model, I think, or even like GLM-5 Turbo or GLM-5.2. 5 Turbo is very interesting because it's meant to be used for tool calls. Like that's its specialty, agentic tool calls. So 5 Turbo could be very good for this. We can actually try some out with different models in a moment. But I just want you to see what the difference is in terms of what the different search skills do. So as you can see, this one has a little bit more to it now. There's now an introduction. There's a little bit more to know about the link if you want that. And you don't even have to really even use these prompts or skills to do search. Once everything's installed, you can just type World Cup news and it'll know what to do. It'll use the tools available and get the job done. You can also set up your configuration so it has default tools. Like for me, I have SearXNG as the default search. So you set Tavily as your default tool for reading pages. So the other one is now the digest format. So let's try that here. So there's a couple of different ways you can set this up where you don't necessarily have to do it my way. You don't even have to use skills. I just have them because sometimes it's nice to get links. But honestly, if it's already set up in the configuration, it's just going to do the search on its own regardless. But yeah, it's really your call. And if you want to use Exa instead or Firecrawl, they're both great tools. And there's also Brave Search, there's DuckDuckGo. But as you can see, like the digest format, now we're getting kind of a list of content, getting a little bit more of a brief. And these are skills I set up myself. So, there was a little bit more context to what I'm searching for. And as you can see here, like the final configuration, like I'm saying, you can set default model, you can set up the default web backend, and your default tools. And really you can go either way with it, but what you want is, again, the Codex subscription. You can use GPT 5.6 Sol. You want an existing SearXNG instance install, like I showed you. You want Tavily or Exa or Firecrawl. And then you can set up the search skills. You can even have backup tools like Bright Data MCP if you want that. That's also useful for this. And yeah, that's really the main setup here. But just so you can see how different models function with this, let's start a new chat and let's get out of Codex. Instead, let's try one with DeepSeek Flash on Max. And let's just do, again, World Cup news. And then you can see it's going to just like, I'm not even going to use the skill here. It's just going to search and find the news because it has those tools set up as the default backend. That is kind of the beauty of this all. And you see here it defaulted to using the Bright Data MCP connection. So you can give Hermes a bunch of tools and Hermes will just figure out what to use by itself. And as you can see here, it's thinking, now you get like that full, really more in-depth search. Bright Data MCP, it's a great tool to have. Again, you just have these tools available for Hermes to pick and choose from. Hermes is very good at deciding. And now we have a lot of news. We have results so far. We have Norway and England, Argentina tonight. Who you got? And then also some final match news. So yeah, DeepSeek, like I said, DeepSeek V4 Flash, great tool for that. We can even switch back now to Luna. Even on medium should be fine. Let's Messi's stats so far for the World Cup. And this is GPT-5.6 is like Flash model. So, you know, choose your model, try things out, see what you want to use. Bright Data is a great, and it has that MCP connection, so it's not an API call anymore. A little bit different. And again, this is not using any skill I set up. It just kind of, it's like, oh yeah, I have Bright Data MCP connected, and there, that's cool. That's something I can use. And that's what Hermes does. That's the power of Hermes. It is able to figure that out for you. So as you can see, DeepSeek V4 Flash was a little bit more, a little quicker in turning up its results. I do want to try GLM-5 Turbo. I think that's a really good model potentially for search. It's going through a lot of data. And while that is doing our search and getting some Lionel Messi stats, this is Bright Data. It has a generous free tier, so it can do search and extract. You can use it as an agent browser, and you get the MCP. And this is what Hermes is using right now, and it's built especially for LLMs and AI agents. So yeah, Bright Data is also a very good tool for this. So here's the stats so far: appearances, goals, assists, goal contributions, minutes per goal. Yeah, Messi's having a crazy tournament. Let's try one more with we'll try ZAI 5 Turbo on high. What was this now? So what I want to do for this one is actually have like use Tavily to pull up the story on today's World Cup games for England and Argentina. Give me in-depth news and analysis. So what Tavily does, and why it's a little different from like a Bright MCP tool, is that Tavily will allow your agent to actually read. And I'm trying GLM-5 Turbo because it's specifically built for agentic tool calls. So as you can see, it's thinking, it's going through a number of articles now, and it's pulling the links for you. So, you know, like, just shout out to all the publishers posting content. You can go to these pages, and you know, it's not just pulling data for you to rip. Like, it's giving you the link. So I think that's very cool. It's not just giving you information. it's giving you the link to actually go to the website too. So here you can see now with the power of Tavily, now it's really giving us a lot of in-depth content because it actually was able to read those articles that it was pulling up in its thinking. So England versus Norway, kickoff 5 p.m. Hard Rock Stadium, Miami. England's road to the quarters gives you the full breakdown of their games so far. Norway's road to the quarters, a full breakdown of what they did, beating Brazil. Erling Haaland is a monster. Key storylines, Haaland versus Kane. That's going to be a great matchup with two of the tournament's most prolific strikers for sure. The narrative writes itself. It really does. Okay, a couple red cards you got to worry about. But yeah, Norway playing great. They have their Viking row celebration. I've seen some cats get into it online. England are the favorites, just obviously having the stacked team that they have. But, I think Norway's got a shot. We'll see. But anyway, this is why it's cool to use Tavily. You get a little more information here. And again, same breakdown with Argentina. Messi scored Argentina's first 5 goals, having a crazy tournament. 8 goals total. Anyway, and then you get your analysis here. So that's with GLM-5 Turbo. I really love GLM's models, but yeah, you have Codex's models at your disposal. Terra, Luna, Sol. Use what you like. Use what you want. They're all great options. Set up any search skills you want, or just set up your configuration any way you want. Give Hermes all the tools to use. But yeah, Hermes is really you have a lot of tools in the toolbox. It'll figure out what to use on its own, but also you can tell it what to use and use different tools depending on certain things. So give yourself variety. They all have generous free tiers. Set up fallbacks, just very cool tool to use with a bunch of different models, and set it up how you like. It's your Hermes agent. That's why I love open source platforms like this. Have at it. Anyway, hope you found this tutorial helpful. If you did, please like and consider subscribing. There's some other videos check out on my channel, so please do that if you have some time. And I'll see you all in the next video. And I hope you enjoy the World Cup tonight. If you're watching this after these games, well, then we already know who won. All right, see you later.